Good morning, boys and girls. Today, we're going to talk about elapsed time. Some of you are probably wondering, what in the world is elapsed time? It's simply how much time has passed from the start of something to the end of something. So, my family, we love to watch Survivor, and it comes on at 8 o'clock, and it ends at 9 o'clock. So the elapsed time would be, how much time did we spend watching Survivor? Okay, when we're solving elapsed time, it's kind of like we're solving a mystery. Elapsed time has 3 pieces of information. You normally have a start time, an elapsed time, and an end time. And our word problem is going to give us 2 pieces of information, and we're going to be searching or trying to solve the 3rd piece of information. So let me give you a hint about the start time and the end time. Those are real times like you would find on a clock, like something started at this time and ended at this time. Elapsed time is in minutes or hours. It's how much time has gone by. So let's see if we can read this problem and determine which pieces of information we have. Megan starts reading a book at 7:45. That sounds like a start time to me. Megan starts reading a book at 7:45. So I think we have this piece of information. She reads until the time shown on the clock. That sounds like a stop time to me, so we've got to figure out what time is on this clock. And if I look at this clock, I know this is my hour hand, so I think we're somewhere in the 8 o'clock hour, and this is my minute hand, and it's on the 6. And I know that every one of these times represents 5 minutes. So I think I can start here and count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Or if I know my 5s, and if I'm on the 6, I know 6 times 5 is 30. So I think the start time is 8:30. So we are looking for how much time did Megan read. Okay, so for elapsed time, I have taught for many, many years, and this is not one of my favorite things to teach. Until I met this little boy named James. And this year I was teaching elapsed time, and let's say I had 20 kids in my class. 19 kids were getting the problem wrong, and James would get it right. And we'd try another one. 19 kids would get it wrong, James would get it right. So I went to look at James' paper, and he had all this writing on there that I really didn't understand, so I asked him to teach me what he was doing, because he was getting them correct every single time. So here's what he was doing. Okay, so James has decided that Megan started reading at 7:45 and she ended at 8:30. So what James did on his paper was he started skip counting by 5 minutes and creating a number line like we did yesterday. 7:45 is when she started. And if I skip count by 5 minutes, the next time on my clock is going to be 7:50. And the next time is going to be 7:55. And I know when I get to 55, nobody ever says it's 7:60. That moves me to 8 o'clock. And then I'm just going to continue skip counting by 5 minutes until I get to Megan's stop time of 8:30. So if I'm moving around the clock, I move 5 minutes every time I move a number. And so there I am at 8:30. So I asked James, okay, James, I love this number line. It's beautiful. But how does that solve the minutes that we're looking for? How many minutes was that from 7:45 to 8:30? So here's what he did next. Well, if I start at 7:45, that's my start time. So no minutes went by. That's just 0. That's where I've started. And when I moved from 7:45 to 7:50, I skip counted by 5 minutes. And when I go from 7:50 to 7:55, that's another 5 minutes. So now I've gone 10 minutes. So 0, 5, 10. You guessed it. There's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40, 45 minutes. So James thinks that Megan read for 45 minutes. Sometimes when they give you a word problem, they don't give you a clock. They give you a number line. And like last week, we worked on telling time on a number line. So let's see what this word problem says and see what pieces of information we have. Blaine's tennis practice began at 2:15. Oh, began, that sounds like start to me, so I think that's my start time. Practice ended at the time shown below. That sounds like my end time, but I'm going to have to figure out what time that is. How many minutes did Blaine spend at tennis practice? Well, I'm looking for how many minutes, so that tells me my missing piece of information is the elapsed time, because I'm looking for how many minutes went by. So now I have to figure out what time is that. Okay, last week on our lesson about number lines, we said number lines can start and end anywhere. So I'm only going to focus on this part of my number line, because if that's 3 o'clock and that's 4 o'clock, that's a whole hour. And I am right in the middle of 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And I know half of an hour is 30 minutes. So I think Blaine's practice stopped at 3:30. Okay, so we discovered that Blaine's tennis practice started at 2:15 and it ended at 3:30. By the way, boys and girls, I would recommend highly that you always write down start, elapsed, end, and kind of make yourself a graphic organizer to help you out. So I'm going to do James's way again. I'm going to make my number line, and I'm going to start at 2:15, and I'm just going to skip count all the way around the clock until I get to 3:30. I think my number line might be longer this time. Do you see that crazy mistake I just made there? So I'm just going to skip count all the way around by 5 minutes until I get to 3:30. There I am at 2:55 again, so I think I'm ready to go into my 3 o'clock hour. And you may want to practice skip counting around a clock, just so you know all the times that happen between your start time and your end time. Ooh, boy, that's a long number line. There may have been an easier way to do this, but we're going to do it this way. Okay, so here I am at start time. That's 0 minutes. I haven't gone anywhere yet. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. So I think Megan Blaine practiced for 75 minutes. But I want to show you one other thing that we could have done. If I started at 2:15 and I went all the way down to 3:15, that gave me 1 hour. And then if I started after my hour, there's 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, right there. So I could have said she practiced for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Is 1 hour and 15 minutes the same thing as 75 minutes? Think about that and you decide. Okay, now it's your turn. I'm going to say that our special area classes start at 10:30 and they end at 11:15. What I would like for you to do is create a number line from 10:30 to 11:15 and see if you can find out how many minutes we are in special areas. If you take a picture of your work and post it on Facebook, that would be awesome. And I want to tell you, boys and girls, I miss you so much. And we all love you at Lincoln. Have a great day.